So we saw Beer Hall Putsch recently from Doug Stanhope, the comedian, the North American comedian, and yeah, it was a fucking masterpiece. Uh, this guy's a fucking genius. I get like all excited every time I watch something from him. Uh, just the fucking intro is amazing. He's fucking talking with Jim Brewer, who is not a funny comedian at all, and these other guys. He's just talking like in a podcast or a radio show or something, and he's talking about how like he hates comedy in theaters,
Yeah.
and he likes the low ceiling Lenny Bruce look,
Yep.
all smoky and creepy.
That made me think about Sarah Silverman because the last special she did was just like that. I think there were like 40 people watching in a small club. Um, and she said the same thing. She doesn't want big theaters and things like that.
Yeah, when I watched that, is it called something language from Jimmy Norton, the special? He makes this like monstrous opening with like fucking Black Sabbath in the background, lights and fucking shit, all full of people. Everyone's clapping like he's fucking super famous
Mm-hmm.
in a huge theater and shit. And I thought like this guy normally does the comedy cellar. It's like it's fucking stupid. Like this is so unreal. This is so not him. And he's not being honest with himself. Like in the opening, he's like, oh, thank you, and shit. Like he's always doing these little clubs and shit.
Mm-hmm.
And then he comes to like big stage, and yeah, it's just fucking. It's yeah, I agree with him. I like in and the mood, like it even looks like the way they talk, it changes.
Yeah.
You're not screaming and yelling. You're just talking normally.
And for the people watching, it must be a lot more like warm, and
Yeah, you got.
you feel more involved, and
Yeah,
you
exactly.
probably laugh harder at any joke because it's just so he's
Yeah,
so present, he's so there.
yeah, and this we talked about this the other day about this woman in the crowd of this beer hall putsch, that she's just fucking laughing like a maniac, and it's fucking hilarious every time she laughs. You just go along with it just because it's so fucking hilarious. Uh, what I thought was amazing in this special is the last special he did was in Oslo,
Mhm.
and in this special he talks about how he wants to stop making his stand-up all about changing the world and sort of social opinion and stuff, and he just wants to make fist fuck jokes.
That wasn't in Oslo. That was before turning the gun on himself.
You sure?
The Oslo is another one.
Oh, okay.
Is the last before I don't know
Okay.
this. Uh,
Well, anyway, what I thought was amazing is like, even so, he kind of doesn't quit because
ah,
I mean he does this whole thing about this whole bit about the Occupy Wall Street movement,
mm-hmm.
And what's kind of strange is he kind of jumps around, yeah, about just jokes like, well, they're all kind of a social commentary joke, I guess. He opens up with this bit, drinking to have a good time,
Uh-huh.
uh, and he talks about how if you want to have a good time without drinking, you actually have to have a good time to have a good time, and how drinking is the solution for having a good time, basically. And yeah, and he kind of goes for this modern type kind of feel where he how people normally meet up these days, which is it's all very pre-planned. You already know where you're going. Everything's like very perfectly set up. Uh, he makes this joke about these guys. He kind of enters this character of this guy making the whole arrangements. He's like calling people, calling his friends, and saying he says something about you can call Sheila.
Yeah.
They have vegetarian food for her and stuff.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, yeah. It's just
He
I like
makes every bit so realistic, like that Sheila thing. It's so true. So
fucking cunt Sheila.
yeah.
And then okay, this is the strangest part of the whole show for me, which is he starts talking about this neighbor of his that is called Jake LaMotta,
Mhm.
which is the boxer in Raging Bull, and he he even takes advantage of this moment to to say that basically that he hates what Robert De Niro does these days.
Yeah.
He
For you.
says Robert De Niro used to be an actor.
Yeah. In the
Uh,
moving pictures.
yeah, in the moving pictures, exactly. It's fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
And yeah, this whole bit is very weird because it's not really a setup for anything.
Uh-huh.
He just talks.
Oh, I
Okay, no,
think.
it actually now I'm
Yeah.
thinking about it. It's
Uh-huh.
kind of a setup
Uh-huh.
for the whole. Yeah, this is the thing with Doug. It's like nothing is made out of everything has a purpose. Everything he's saying, it has he wants to get somewhere.
Yeah.
Even if he's not telling you, you have to think about your reaction to what he just said.
Uh-huh.
You have to be so aware like of every all of your senses because it's like everything's so smart and well thought of.
Uh-huh.
And basically he talks about this whole Jake LaMotta story, which is they get invited to his house and everything, and then like, and he's very old now, and he's like 90 or something.
Uh-huh.
He can barely move, and yeah, just basically goofing on him, like, yeah, that he's like all senile and stuff. But then, just about when you think the bit is going to end, and it was just a funny bit, suddenly he says, and then I start wondering
Exactly.
how long does it take until I'm like this? And
How
then
long?
you're like, you
Yeah.
smart motherfucker.
How long before that's me? How long before that final synapse in my brain tells me don't do that? Um, and I thought about Jim Jeffries' last special because Jim also speculated about his own mental illness. Like, Jim Jeffries was saying, maybe I'm in a room, I'm just in a room, a hospital room, uh, talking to the wall, saying, uh,
I
I
like
hate guns.
guns.
No, I hate guns. I hate
I hate
guns.
guns, exactly. I hate guns. I hate guns.
And I was thinking, that's a very. I thought Ricky Gervais would never do that. He's not. He doesn't doubt himself. Like these guys just said, I might be crazy, and they think that they think they ponder about these things, and I don't see other comedians thinking about their own rationality or something like. But these
Yeah,
guys both talked about being fucking crazy,
yeah,
and that's good. That's an
yeah. It's
improvement.
healthy.
Uh-huh.
And yeah,
Chris Rock would never say that.
yeah,
It
yeah.
doesn't belong because these guys are talking about real things, like real in this human sense, not just
Hmm.
socially. Yeah.
Yeah. Uh, then,
Then there's this bit. I love it. He says, "I live every day. I live every day of my life like it's the last day on earth." And then
kids.
people start clapping. And then he says, "Don't clap. You don't know how I live." That makes it even more sad and pathetic that I would willingly choose to spend any given last day on earth immobilized on a couch watching Storage Wars. That's so fucking good.
Hmm. uh, you remember when he talks about when he goes drunk on eBay
Uh huh.
and he starts getting outbidded, and then he takes it personally because he's all drunk,
Uh huh.
and that happens with me in the casino. When I go to the casino, it happened, especially when I'm alone.
Uh huh.
Only when I'm alone, actually. And I'm playing with someone and not really outbidding, but just like
Yeah.
if he bets on black, I'll bet on red.
Uh huh.
So fucking stupid.
Yeah.
Okay, the mother's suicide.
Uh huh. He already told that story on Howard Stern, but
Yeah, yeah,
now he
but not
made
a
a
bit.
joke
Yeah,
out of it.
exactly.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, it's like even with this, like it's for the first time, I'm actually moved by a story in comedy. Like
Mm.
I've never heard a bit where I was like, I don't know, not feeling sad, but just moved by it. I don't know,
Yeah.
because he tried not to make this emotional at all.
No, I think he wasn't afraid of emotional because he himself, you could see sometimes that he was really feeling sad about telling the story.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's what I mean is like he introduced it, sort of like, ah, this
Oh,
is,
it's yeah.
but then you can tell that in certain moments he gets carried away.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's
Yeah,
I
that's why
never
I thought
saw
that's why
that.
I thought it was moving. It was
Yeah.
not like because you can actually, it's fucking amazing story. If by the way, if you haven't watched Beer Hall Putsch, just you have to watch it right now. Everything that Doug Stanhope does, this guy's a fucking genius. Um,
That might be the best that that kind of moment, that emotional thing about his mom. It's awesome because any other comedian would just turn it into a light joke and be all jokey and light, but he wasn't afraid of saying she was a wonderful woman, for example, or não sei quê. Um,
yeah,
It's
No, and he says it in a nice way. He doesn't say it with.
uh-huh.
What I think is amazing in this guy is like, I think he breathes, he lives stand up so much. His stand up, not stand up comedy.
Uh-huh.
I've heard him say in his podcast he almost never, like, he's not aware of upcoming comedians.
Uh-huh.
He's not watching everyone's specials and stuff. Uh, but I think he he is such. I think he just goes there and he can actually be himself when he's there.
Uh-huh.
Like Louis, for example.
Mhm.
You see Louis on Comedians in Cars Getting Coffee, and you're not surprised.
Yeah.
Unlike Sarah Jessica Parker or I don't know whatever,
Mm-hmm.
you're watching Louis. It's Louis. It's
Fucking
not.
Aziz Ansari. That fucking
Yeah, fucking can't. Uh,
most interviews on comedians in cars getting coffee are like that. You're just watching a fucking stupid character and
yeah,
not the real comedian.
yeah. The person, not
Yeah.
even. Yeah,
Yeah,
like
not even the comedian. Yeah.
yeah. It's like it's. Yeah, yeah. That's what I mean. It's like he goes there, and you're getting Doug 100%. That is him. That's what he thinks. That's what he wants to say.
Yeah.
We were talking about the other on the other day how he just talks. Like he's not. These aren't bits. These are. It's like he's in a pub with you, like having a beer, telling you a story,
Mm-hmm.
maybe a bit polished up because it's written, but yeah,
He's a
he's
great
just
and he's a great speaker. Naturally, natural speaker because
yeah.
you just feel that the story was perfectly written and perfectly constructed, but you see by the way he talks that it's all natural. He could tell any story in the world and it would be funny. Just
That's right. Yeah. That's why in the podcast I really like hearing him talk. Uh, yeah, because every time he opens his mouth, it's just funny or just his voice. Everything's perfect about his
uh-huh.
the way he delivers like information. It's amazing. I've never seen
You
anything
know
like this.
what? I just thought about something. This stupid thing about dark comedy or dark jokes that doesn't exist. That's just it's comedy.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
stupid.
It's amazing how there is a distinction. Like
Yes, because everything should be so brutal and true and honest. That's comedy, I think. It's not about jokes or something.
I
It's
don't I don't remember. I think I heard this in the Opie and Anthony show
mhm.
where I think Opie said to Patrice or something. Basically, Patrice was heckled or someone was offended by a joke that he did or something like that.
Uh-huh.
And Opie said something like, "It's a fucking comedy club." Like, why are like how the hell are you going there and expecting to hear
Yeah.
I don't know, these people are crazy. You go to a comedy club to forget everything, to relax, to your mind, to relax your mind, to
Mhm.
explore ideas and let humor take you to new places and new ideas. And people just go get all quirky about things, like about comedy, which is such a I think it's even amazing like all of this information is delivered to us through videos or something. You're not even paying. Just go away. Just like how the hell can you get picky about someone's like ideas, or
Uh-huh.
especially in comedy, it's like I don't know, it doesn't make any sense to me. Um, but again, with this mom's suicide story,
Uh-huh.
he just basically goes on and on about. He tells the whole process until his mother. Basically, they do this. They set up this suicide for the mom because she's in pain. She has a disease, which I don't remember what it is, and they just do this like farewell, like a farewell party.
Yeah.
And his mom has a good, very good sense of humor. Um,
They roast her.
yeah, they make her a roast, which is fucking amazing. Uh, they start saying things like, "Oh, they found the cure,"
Yeah.
before she dies, and she goes like, "Oh, fuck off, all of you." And yeah, this whole thing is just amazing. And again, in the end, you think this is all just a normal story. Well, he sets you up. He tells you about that he believes there is an afterlife,
Mm-hmm.
and then and he said he had proof that there was that afterlife existed, and then he tells the whole mom story. And in the end, when you forgot about what he said in the beginning,
Uh-huh.
this whole other life thing,
Mm-hmm.
suddenly he shoots back at you and he says that he has proof, and that after she died, 4 days after she died, he and his brother, I think, they
Um.
they got gifts
Yeah.
that were paid with his mother's credit card.
Yeah.
and and basically he's going for this website. Is it, where do they order these gifts or things?
I don't remember, but he just basically says that it was paid after she was dead.
Yeah, exactly. uh, yeah, the whole Occupy Wall Street movement thing, he completely dismantles it like perfectly. Actually, he just like he exposes all these modern manifestations that are being done all over Europe and all around the world. These specific manifestations who are not that are not well thought of. People are just gathering around and just screaming and yelling, and nothing is actually being done. Which brings you back to the whole cancer bit in front, where he talks about this whole awareness thing going on, which is really what's happening with everything nowadays, isn't it? It's sort of like you just you bring awareness to everything, but you don't do anything about it.
Mm-hmm.
That's what these manifestations are. It's like, oh, gather everyone. There's this and this problem, and then yeah, and then you just like there's no plan. There's no action. You're just raising awareness for the sake of raising awareness, and then he talks about how the Wall Street movement was very badly thought of and still is, because people are just. He talks about he talks about this park which they gathered in New York or something. Basically, they ruined this
Central
whole
Park.
park.
Central Park.
Central Park. They ruined all of it. And he said something about how uh, you just ruined the day for a guy who wanted to throw a frisbee with his dog.
Mm-hmm.
when what they should have done, they should have ruined banks and
Mm-hmm.
not the fucking park. But what's amazing for me is what I didn't like in this special. The only thing I didn't enjoy in this special is all his other specials were very consistent or very, and here he's doing weird jumps between jokes for the sake of making jokes and meaningful things in a weird way, sort of the way he tells stories and things, they just seem very detached sometimes from his points.
Mm.
Didn't you get like that impression?
Yeah.
Especially with the mom story. He goes
Yeah.
off a tangent that is completely like he's
Yeah.
getting way too off the point.
He didn't have any good segues between jokes, but that's not how he works, obviously. But yeah, you're right. He touches, but maybe all those points, as chaotic as they seem, maybe there's something in common. I don't know. I haven't thought about it. But yes, it's more disconnected and there's more.
Yeah.
But maybe he could have arranged them better. I don't know. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But especially closing with that 60 inches of AIDS bit. That's
Yeah.
really
You talk about that bit.
yeah, it's really weird. Oh no, we
Yeah.
should. Uh, well, I don't know what to say. Maybe maybe the whole the whole fucking special is worth it just because of that bit, because it's so.
Yeah, I told Mario the other day this, which is it's stupid to say it, and it's probably not true as well. But I'm going to say it anyway, just because I want to say it, which is this 30 inches of AIDS
60
on
inches.
60 inches of AIDS on any given Sunday. It's the name of the bit. You can check it out on YouTube. It's the best bit I've ever heard in all my life. It's just fucking amazing. It's amazing. You can't stop laughing from the beginning to the end. It's just, it's ridiculous. It's like I have no idea how he managed to do something like that.
It's like, I think it's very artistic just because it's comedy for comedy. In the same sense as they say art for art, uh, some pieces are just art for art. This is comedy for comedy because there's no real message or theme or nothing. It's just pure sense of humor, his own dark
Well,
thoughts, I think.
kind of. You see, this is why I
I
think I made a good point a few minutes ago, which is he goes so much off point that he deceives you in
no, I don't
thinking
think
that it doesn't have
no.
any point. Because in the end, what he's talking about
But
is the
that's
whole
not.
cancer thing.
I know, but that's not. I don't think that's what's.
Do you
That's
think he's kind of this guy, like disguising?
no. I don't think that's the point. I think that's a separate point. He's talking about the cancer thing, but obviously that's not a big issue in our society. Cancer ads in the middle of football. So obviously, his idea for that bit is just to tell that fucking
Yeah, you're
most
right.
surreal
Yeah.
de- derivation of thoughts. It's so
I mean,
spontaneous
yeah.
and
If you haven't heard it, it's fucking it's surreal comedy. Like it's completely. It's amazing. It's amazing. It's just
And
like,
it's a new type of comedy. No
yeah,
one, because everyone has at least a theme or a rational idea about it, but this is just the most irrational, brilliant, most brilliant
yeah,
thing.
it's fucking amazing.
And
Um,
even the title of the video, 60 inches of AIDS, it's so
yeah, on
good.
any given Sunday.
Yeah. So,
Uh, yeah, it's
um,
fucking amazing.
we could talk about this.
You, wait, I have something to say actually. I just remembered, which is, didn't you find it odd, like when he when he besides Oslo,
Uh-huh.
all of his specials are always in Southern American states. And this time he went to Portland. This was filmed in Portland.
Mhm.
And this crowd is all, you know, about the whole Portland thing, which is they're all young people, artsy young people.
Mhm.
That's why he says kids. You never heard that before in the special.
Mhm.
Because he says, for all of you 22-year-olds out there, Robert De Niro used to be an actor.
Yeah.
I thought that was kind of weird when he said he was filming it in Portland. It's not like his typical sort of loser type. These are like cool, hip, young people, and I found that a bit weird. But what he actually says in the beginning, I think he this was one of the first places where he made stand up in his career, because he said something like it's good to be back, or we have a long relationship for a long time. So yeah, you were saying, what do you want to say?
Um, we could talk about this new style of his, like this this scenario, this clothes. It's so fancy, so unlike him, but so quirky at the same time. But I don't think. I just want to say that I don't think that it's particularly relevant, this change. I mean, I don't think he's changed, like in the sense that he was corrupted or something
Yeah, yeah, no, I also don't think so.
by show business. He'll never
No,
be
no, no,
he'll never be changed.
no, no.
But
And this is not this is not show busy, like the way it's
but you
filmed.
mm, I think
Like,
it's a lot more if you see Deadbeat Hero or fucking Burning the Bridge to
okay, yeah,
Nowhere.
in comparison with those, they
This
are.
is really pretty, really well lit.
Yeah, but what I think is it doesn't have the show business type thing. Like they don't film the audience. Uh,
Oh yeah, that's
like
really important. I like that
yeah,
a lot.
exactly. Like it's
Uh-huh.
these really small details that I think he just went for a different look, because I think he feels this has to do with him. Like he's living life in a different way now. He's, I think he's more in peace. I think the whole thing with his mother,
Yeah.
I'm sure it had a very like specific impact on him.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
That's
he's not drinking as much. He's smoking less as well. I think he's just tired. I think he's just tired, and he just wanted to make like a nice thing. I think he wanted to make something that he was kind of proud of, because all the rest, he's always he would have
it's
watched any other of those his old specials and would have just said this is fucking shit.
mm-hmm.
I think he just wanted to feel a little bit happier about it. That's I think that's all, because
Yeah.
nothing really changed in the sense of the
Yeah,
way
of course.
he didn't change the awareness of his show. He doesn't want it to be sold more. He just kept. He knows the same people are going to buy it. He's gonna maintain the same people who watched all of his old stuff are the ones who are going to watch this. He just changed it for himself, I think, because he didn't promote it in a different way. He didn't. Everything's the same. Everything's the same. It's on his website and Amazon or whatever. Um, what I thought was funny is he charges more than Louis for his material. Everything's higher than $10, and Louis is everything is $5, which I thought was kind of funny since Louis is mega famous. But maybe that's why he doesn't have to charge as much. Um,
I was thinking maybe good comedians are going back to this idea of small rooms, small comedy bars, because we have three examples at least, like Sarah Silverman's We Are Miracles, Beer Hall Putsch, and also Todd Barry. That we're gonna talk about this in the next podcast, but this crowd work tour is also just in small bars, small.
yes, but the thing is, like, I think I think all of these guys, Sarah Silverman, all these sort of comedy club guys, they they're gonna maintain the same amount of people watching. So I don't think I think yeah, maybe they are changing, but it's not actually changing the way stand-up comedies are being shot because you'll never see Kevin Hart. He will never do something like that.
Yes, I
maybe
was
we
just
can
saying.
maybe we can go out there and say we don't consider him an actual comedian, but
Yeah.
those kind of guys they will keep doing their thing. Uh,
I wish like Louis C.K. would tape his next special in Comedy Cellar at New York or something, like he
yeah,
does in the show Louis in the beginning.
yeah,
I love
I
that
fucking
that
love it. The whole environment is just
yeah,
amazing.
small comedy. I think comedy was meant to be in small rooms. It was never
Yeah, stadium, fucking
as
stadium.
soon as you're on a fucking enormous enormous stage and thousands of people watching, you're kind of working against yourself because you can never be a star. You should never be, like Ricky Gervais says, you should never be above the audience.
Hmm.
Uh, and that's what a comedy club is
Yeah, but
about. You
what
should be like a jazz player, like that, a lonely guy,
Ricky,
poor.
the thing what I think is amazing with Ricky, it's like even though I started like now in the I don't know, er, lately, uh, I don't know when I
Criticizing.
started like hearing more of Doug and Carlin and Hicks and everything, I started sort of forgetting about him. But I think he was really smart in the sense that he and Chris Rock are the only two people are the only two comedians, like major comedians, who they used the fact that they are filling up a massive stage. They used it in a very intelligent way, and it's what Ricky Gervais says in Talking Funny, which is he plays that card. He plays that I'm acting like I'm bigger than you, but with that I'm saying that I'm not.
Yes, but still, I admire Ricky Gervais's intellectualization of comedy and the things he says about comedy more than his own comedy.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
used to
that's true.
care a lot about his comedy, but now I just appreciate more the things he's got to say, and I'm always remembering things he said on Talking Funny, for example, or other interviews or something.
Hmm. Yeah, that's kind of right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, and I'm actually very curious. Like, I want to see what he's going to do next because Derek is going to end eventually
Hmm.
soon. He's on the third season.
Uh, it's already ended, I think.
Okay,
Season finale for
and
the series.
he did a Christmas special, so it's over.
Yeah.
Uh, so now I'm really curious to see what he's going to do. Really, really. And Louis as well, Louis C.K. as well, because he just recently he announced he announced some gigs. So that means he has got new material because every year he retires his material. If you didn't know, so yeah, he's doing two gigs in Chicago now in January. In Actually today he's doing today, tomorrow, and on the 14th of January in New York. The first two ones are in Chicago. And yeah, I'm really curious to see what's coming out of this. Um, and I'm even more curious to see if one of these gigs is going to be the special. But I don't think so because he would have announced, he would have made a teaser or a trailer or whatever, like he did with Oh My God. I guess it's the first time he did a promo for a special, so maybe it's a one-off thing. So yeah, that's going to be nice. Um, Todd, Todd Barry, yeah, Todd Barry. That's our next podcast. Todd Barry, the crowd work tour. Um, yeah, and Bill Burr actually released recently as well. One of his, and actually Doug Stanhope talks about it in his podcast. He liked it a lot. Um, yeah, he said something as well. He said he loved the comedy from this guy that I never heard of. I actually have to go back to the podcast to listen who it was because I really want to listen to someone that he thinks is amazing.
Mitch Hedberg,
No, no, no. It's a recent one.
Norman MacDonald,
I can't. I don't remember the name.
because yeah, he said that.
Yeah, Mitch Hedberg. Mitch Hedberg is. Mitch Hedberg actually. They did comedy at the same time when he began. I think
Yeah.
I think Doug's first is in '95.
Uh-huh.
The Great White Stanhope comedy tour, and I think Hedberg died in 98. Um, so yeah, I mean he probably is like he admired him and stuff. No, actually Hedberg died in 2005. That's very late. Okay. Uh,
Going back to Doug Stanhope's being an artist or something, I
fucking
just
amazing,
uh,
motherfucker.
if you think about his titles, just the comedy specials titles, it's all very it's like acid bootleg or something to take the edge off, deadbeat hero before turning the gun on
It's so
himself,
dramatic. Everything's so dramatic.
word of mouth. It's also artistic,
Yeah.
and even Bill Hicks's titles like
Psycho.
Remedies, yeah, Revelations. There's this other one that I haven't listened to yet called Rant in E minor. Rant in E minor, like the.
Whoa. Yeah, the note.
Uh-huh.
Me too. Me too. Morbid obscenity. That's fucking amazing with the unbookables. I love it. It's so weird and they don't know what the fuck they are doing. Uh, yeah.
There's this bit on Beer Hall Putsch where he says has an openly gay comedian.
Yeah, that was very nice as well.
I'm gay if it needs to be. If I'm gay, I'm gay. I'm
Yeah, but
fucking gay.
that was also, yeah, we didn't talk about that bit, but it's a fucking amazing bit. What he talks about, maybe there's a young kid coming out, and that gives him in this special. He really seems to be softer, isn't it? Like he actually gives like advice, sort of emotional advice.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
That was that, but that was like it wasn't cheap, or it was done in a very nice way.
And in that bit, he says, "I come out of the closet all the time,"
Yeah.
and I thought that's very near to this lying thing about I'm a gay comedian. That's very close to what Louis did on his podcast with
Yeah.
the 40,000 people downloaded my podcast, even though it's only 346.
But
Um,
still, how amazing!
yeah,
Still, how amazing is it that
yeah.
so many people listen? Yeah, it's fucking amazing. I
It's
haven't
kind of
actually, I haven't heard all of his podcasts, but I really, really gotta finish it up. It's really amazing. Anything he does, any of these guys do, they can do anything they want. I'm gonna watch it, buy it, whatever I have to do.
and he also says, "I love homosexuality, but I hate fagginess because it's aesthetically unpleasing."
Yeah, yeah,
It's like what I was saying to you the other day about how I hate psychoanalysis.
yeah.
It's this. It's because it's ugly. There's ugly things. It's just aesthetically stupid.
How so?
It's I don't like the whole thing about parents giving so much importance to your parents and your
Upbringing.
childhood. Yeah, I think that's stupid.
Mm.
Um,
Why?
I don't know, but uh, in that I don't think you've seen it. Agnes Varda has this other film very close to um, how do you say that? Well, the movie is called Beaches of Agnes,
Uh-huh.
uh, and she says a really interesting thing in the beginning when she's talking about her own childhood and looking at childhood pictures. She says to the camera, "I don't. My childhood was not important to me. It had it didn't have any. It didn't contribute in any way to what I am now." Uh, and we talked about it in the class with the teacher, and yeah, that's very interesting.
Hmm.
That denies all the psychological theory we know today, and I really like that.
Mm.
Um, yeah. Um, there's this in the end of that bit about the gay thing, he says this thing: "Get the right to marry, but then don't, and then don't,"
Yeah,
because the whole gay marriage thing was on the courts, and
yeah.
yeah.
Like, yeah, and then he talks about black people, about the
Uh-huh.
civil rights movement, and how, yeah, how they wanted to, how was it? Uh,
Um,
that they wanted the
this
right to sit in,
on some restaurant.
yeah, thing, American thing,
Yeah.
And then he said, "Oh, but don't go to these restaurants
Those
because
guys
this
are
guy is a fucking
assholes.
racist,
Yeah.
and you're giving him profits." And and then he said, how was it? Don't tip, and that's how they started not tipping, and the whole new culture started. You know this thing that people say that black people don't tip. He was like being a little. It's like a disguised racist joke.
Yeah.
That was very funny.
Yeah.
Where did I hear that black people don't? Ah, okay. O&A. Louis was on the Opie and Anthony show, and he said, "Yeah, that's that the waitresses say that black people never tip."
Yeah.
Yeah, and they were talking about something about being superstitious about race and stuff. Uh, yeah.
This whole thing about comedy being just something, an art form, some kind of art form. I think it's really important because people think laughter is just an empty burst of cum or something. It's like an empty act, or but I think it's not. I was thinking maybe this is too extreme or something, but laughter can be in some sense an active act, like an action. It can even be a political action, like if you laugh at a racist joke, like a truly racist joke told by a racist. If you laugh, you're consenting, you're agreeing in a sense.
Hmm.
um, you're giving value to racism.
Hmm.
I think that's really important because
Yeah.
laughter isn't just laughing. It can be,
Yeah, it's more than that. Yeah. It's when we talk what you were talking about the other day, like how sense of humor is not just
yeah. If
finding
a
something.
person, yeah,
Yeah, it's much more than just finding something funny. It's agreeing with an idea. It's following an idea as well.
or even people who are laughing all the time. Those are, I find the people that are laughing all the time the least. Uh,
Humorous.
yeah, the ones with the most simple, boring sense of humor.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um. Oh, there's this other thing. He says, "If I know your sexuality within the first 30 seconds of the conversation, you're fucking annoying." That's
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
Behind all these beats, behind all these jokes, he really has ideas about the world. It's like cinema. Your films are always your vision of life in this sense of values and about society, about people, emotions. And it's true to this thing about if I know your sexuality within the first 30 seconds, it's not a joke. There's an idea behind this. It's just
Uh-huh.
I'm interested in other things about you.
Yeah,
Um,
but that's what we always talk about. Like, what is I think what a true artist is someone who is true to himself, and he can sort of put this on paper in a in a way of saying, like, sort of with any art form you do is sort of like you put all your values, all your
mhm,
thoughts, ideas, sort of how you like it's so much more than just a thing. Like, for example, King Cruel
mhm,
with his music, it's you can sort of you hear the truthfulness in what he does. Sort of like in every song, you can hear sort of the pain. You can hear the yeah. It's how he views life,
Hmm.
the way the songs he plays. It's like the lyrics. He's expressing like everything about his perspective in about things. And I think this is true with like everyone. Why is Louis C.K. so famous? Why is he so good?
Hmm.
For example, it's because he's just being so raw, so like Doug. They are so truthful and so it almost goes to a point where it doesn't actually matter what they are saying in the sense of just the fact that they are being so honest.
Hmm.
That's the whole point of it. It's almost not, it's just people are laughing about how crazy it is to be honest these days.
Yeah.
That's what people are actually laughing about. They are laughing about how crazy it is to be honest, which is to say, I understand why the baby in the garbage. I understand why
Yeah.
I understand why babies are in the garbage. I could do that. And
Hmm.
that is a real feeling.
Yeah.
And people in the audience they laugh
Yeah.
because it's this dark hidden
All
thought.
all these guys know they're talking to a stupid society, not the
Exactly.
audience, but they're doing this show against something. Doug
Yeah.
is against society, and he does this show against. That's very artistic. That's in itself. It's very good. He's not
Uh-huh.
conforming. He's not a fucking stupid like Jerry Seinfeld. You feel that he's part of society in this sense that
Yeah, exactly.
he's not
Yeah.
against it. He perfect.
Yeah, he's conformed with not even conformed. He's it. He is.
Exactly. That's why I don't like his rich lifestyle. And he projects that in comedians in cars getting coffee like crazy. Those fucking rich cars. In the beginning, it was funny,
Yeah.
but
And the
now it.
first thing I remembered about the show was when you told me uh you actually found the show. You told me about the show.
Uh-huh.
So, and you told me, I remember this line very well. You said, "Oh, and he gets these cars for each comedian, and the car has something to do with the comedian."
Uh-huh.
And at some point, he kind of loses that.
Yeah.
And the beginning, that was very true. Like I saw it and I thought, oh yeah, that's cool. And then he starts losing that whole personalized side of things.
Yeah, and he just went too far. It's too many episodes, too many comedians, um, and
Yeah.
the
Yeah, too many people that don't matter as
yeah,
well.
exactly.
They have nothing to say.
Yeah.
Nothing. Um, and what I liked about like that whole thing with like Aziz Ansari. Now Aziz Ansari actually wasn't that bad in that sense. But what I thought was amazing with like Louis, with Ricky, with
Hmm.
David Letterman, with Larry David, they are his friends. He hangs out with them normally.
Yeah.
They are so relaxed. He's not even doing questions. He's not questioning everyone. They're just talking about things.
Yeah, and also Jerry Seinfeld said he was doing a show in this format because he didn't like talk shows. He just wanted people that he knew personally. But he lost that. Even that he lost in these latest things like Miranda Sings or
Yeah,
Aziz
fuck.
Ansari. These are all people that some producer said it would be nice to have him on the show or something.
Yeah.
It's not.
Yeah, that
And it
Miranda
becomes
Sings thing is absolutely ridiculous.
and it becomes false like a talk show fake.
Yeah.
And this stupid thing he's doing with Michael Richards in the end of the episodes, this bonus
Oh,
feature.
this is holy shit! It annoys me so much.
Yeah,
It's like
it's not funny. It's not
nothing.
part of
It's
the show.
nothing.
It shouldn't be even shot all
That's
the
what I
time.
was telling you about the guy. How is he called? The guy from Seinfeld, the fat guy.
Uh,
The
George Costanza.
Yeah, George Costanza. That episode annoys me so much.
Yeah.
You know why it annoys me?
Mm.
Because they have nothing to talk about. He doesn't have a career.
Yeah.
He doesn't have he doesn't have anything. The only thing, and that episode is sad because it reflects that the only thing that guy has is Seinfeld.
Yeah.
And they do something Seinfeldy-ish.
Uh-huh.
And that's so ridiculous. Like, it's the same thing with Miranda Sings. They couldn't just fucking leave it. You did 9 seasons of that shit. That shit in the sense of I'm not offending the series. Uh, in the sense of like you did 9 seasons of that. Just leave it alone. Don't bring it again in your new. And that as well with Curb.
Uh-huh.
I didn't like the fact that he brought Seinfeld again into like
No, I
it's a
think
new series. He left it behind. Why are they digging it up all again?
no,
It
but
was almost felt like an excuse just to put Seinfeld, just for the fans, because the fans look. It's the same thing with The Hobbit or something. If you're a fan of Seinfeld and you're watching Curb, you won't hate those episodes. Like it's just impossible. You won't
yeah.
naturally. You just feel home again. It's familiar. It's warm.
No, but I think he did that Seinfeld reunion in a very cool way. He talked about it on an interview that he didn't want the classic reunion uh, of of that you see with other series.
Yeah,
This
yeah.
was more
Okay, okay.
this was
I'll
special.
give you that. I'll give you that. That it's very sort of inside Seinfeld
Yeah.
sort of thing, and very into his new curbish humor. Uh, but still,
Yeah.
like it's this thing about what we're always talking about, which is these in most American series, if they don't get cancelled and if it is successful, they can't leave on a high on a high
S-
register. They always have to
uh-huh.
just keep going on and on and on. And that whole Seinfeld thing, for me, it just reflected that was it was just sort of like just like squishing the whole orange as much as they can.
Yeah.
And what he did with Seinfeld and Curb is like using the fucking skin of the orange. Just
Yeah.
like there's nothing more to squish.
Yeah.
And yeah, and I don't know. And that's
Um.
yeah for the whole Constanza thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean yeah. Comedians in cars getting coffee for me. 2 seasons would have been fucking great, just for the sake of being 2 seasons. Alec Baldwin should have been in the beginning. Tina Fey should have been in the beginning as well.
Mhm.
Like it's just all mixed up, like shit comedians with very good comedians. It's just not interesting. And
Going back to Beer Hall Putsch, it's funny because the first time I saw it, I don't know, I didn't get how good it was. I told you about it and I said, yeah, it's cool, but there are some things uh, that
yeah, that don't. Yeah, that.
that don't match.
Yeah,
But now I think it's just a masterpiece. It's not. You're right. It's not consistent, but it's really good.
Yeah, and it
Um,
doesn't have to, right? Like it doesn't have to be what we love about it. It's the it's all the imperfections. Everything that isn't perfect with Doug Stanhope makes it perfect.
yeah. Now I was thinking about the title. I was trying to explain why he chose this title.
Hmm.
Um, Beer Hall Putsch. It was like a failed attempt by the Nazis to occupy some city on Europe. So,
Munich, I think.
oh yeah. Uh, so maybe it's about a failed attempt. It's like a statement or something about failed lives that Doug Stanhope is trying to do or something. Like about the meaning of life or something.
Yeah, that's very good actually. Yeah, that's a good
Or
assumption.
rather or rather the nonsense of life.
Cool.
Now we're gonna play Borderline by King Cruel.
You know I tried so hard. My feelings just can't describe the way in which I fell into your heart. Was never what I once knew. Lately my skull was kept dividing lines, deep set and paved. Two paths to wander through, to depart and sever desires to pursue. And the soul chokes to cause the tide to enforce divide. This old erosion is moved inside. I'll score mine, store my crimes. Reach slow motion to coin the mind. See here I trace my steps to where my sense had left and brain had turned my sense to mush. This slowly seeping straight through the crust. Now let these stains of gunk slip down to where my head once sunk and drowned. Just to wait for a while to see my body has merged to the deep cruel sea. But my soul floats, adrift thoughtless minds, distorted lines. The soul's broken down borderlines to cause the tide to enforce divide. This old erosion has morphed in time. I'll score mine to soar my crimes. Reach slow motion and coil the mind. So scorn divide, I'm more than pride. It's cold spoken and true in the light.